Alright, I am returning to this game, this time for real. I really need to make 26 the year, when I get my shit together and do the stuff that I actually want to do, instead of waiting around for external validation and guidance, which I am fully aware is not going to come. So, with all that said, glory to Kairos. I am some guy, Fatebinder extraordinaire. It's time to spread some tyranny. We are in Lethian's crossing. There is a spire here that we gonna need to investigate. Possibly add here to our collection. But on first pass, let's just go around and loot every container.
It's all in the reflexes. Good thing I keep a torsion wrench handy.
Alright, that's better. The loot goblin in me is finally satisfied, so let's actually take a look around this place. Generic people. I kinda like your armor though. Would be nice if I could get some. What about you, merchant? We are sitting at Wrath 1 with Lethian's crossing. I hope that's not gonna be too much of a problem. Good day, my fine friend. Could I interest you in all manner of provisions? There's no telling what may befall you on your travels. I have a vague idea, but sure. Could you tell me anything about this seal? I found it in Vendrion's well. So I did. Don't actually remember where. Don't recognize it, but one of the other merchants here might. Between us all, there has to be someone who has seen it in their travels. Okay, fair enough. Anything special that you have? Whoa, mama. That's a whole lot of money you're asking. Exquisite quality though. Pretty nice. Well, that is why I have my main character. Using his fists costs me much less that way. But nothing actually. That is good for me. This fine shotgun would actually be an upgrade from the bronze sword, both in DPS and accuracy. We will probably see if we can acquire it some other way. So far we are done here. Okay, you two have names. Sorry to cause a disturbance, Fatebinder. Just making a point to my friend here about harassing me for rings. He chuckles. Get it, Kressner? Point? You stabbed me, you bastard, and I'm not harassing you. All I want is what you owe me. Ooh, civil dispute. My favorite. It's a tiny scratch. Stop crying about it, you baby. If you want, we can get the Fatebinder to decide who's right in this little matter. That is, if you think you have a leg to stand on. Once you can stand up again, that is. He chuckles again. Okay. This guy is a bit of a sadistic bastard then. I'm kind of inclined to agree with him. Even though technically I should be above taking sides. I am an enforcer of the Archon of Justice. Once invoked, my ruling is final. Are you sure this is what you want? Fine by me. Then I won't have to resort to violence to prove my point. You have already did that. But okay. So let's start with you. Fano hired me to talk some of the other merchants into leaving town. Ah, I see. I did what he asked, but now he won't pay up. That's an interesting conundrum here. Do we uphold the law for payment for services rendered if that service was against the law? Was this a one-time job or something ongoing? Just the one time. Drinking money, you understand. The Brotherhood wouldn't approve of me freelancing for some merchant, but I figured it wouldn't hurt to do it just that once. I understand. And I did see other merchants, so I take it they didn't really leave. The merchants around here aren't going to back down just because some soldier says a bunch of mean words to them. I figured I'd shake them down for rings, convince them it would be cheaper to leave. And did they pay? I made a few rings, yeah. Once I'd visited all of them, I came back to collect the pay I was promised. Fano said he wouldn't pay me, and then he just stabbed me. Alright. What do you say to that? Business has been done on account of all the other merchants around here. I hired Krasner to have a word with some of them, maybe get them to leave town or stop competing with me on price. Well, I have bad news for you, buddy. In a better world, that is what the free market is all about. Not only did Krasner not do what I asked, but it got back to me that he shook down some of the other merchants for rings. That's not what I hired him for. I asked Krasner to do a job for me, something simple. He comes back, says the job is done, even though there's no results, and demands his pay. I tell him no, and Krasner there gets all threatening. Alright. Do you have any last words? Well, I think it's pretty obvious to everyone that I'm the one in the right. I did not get what I hired him for, so he doesn't deserve any more money, especially from me. Shut up, Fano. Just because your competitors can be intimidated doesn't mean you get out of paying me for the job. I deserve payment for the work I did. Well, in my professional Fatebinder opinion, you already had your pay. You just decided to take it from the other merchants. Let's see, what sort of justice can we deliver here? Judge Fano guilty of instigating intimidation. We can ban him. We can charge Krasner for extortion. To be punished according to Brotherhood laws. Find them both guilty of intimidation and extortion. Fano gets banned. Oh, so this is both of these. And this should be, I think, the impartial option. Hehe. We can just shake both of them down. Because what are they going to do? I am the law here. We can make Fano pay and stop further intimidation tactics. Okay, that would in fact leave all the other merchants a little disgruntled. Because Krasner still has their money. Or we can let Kressner keep what he already has, but give up on getting his pay. Yeah, I'm pretty sure if you want to be nice and impartial, that this option would be the only one for you to take. However, just because someone promises you money to do something illegal, that is on you if you decide to accept it, so we're just gonna charge Kressner and leave this guy alone, at least for now. If he decides to try again with someone else, that's a whole other matter. Oh, come on, you can't blame me for trying to make a few extra rings. Well, considering that the Bronze Brotherhood is a mercenary company, you literally signed up for a few extra rings. You might just want to negotiate your pay with your commander, or whoever's in charge here. Have fun getting your fingers broken, Kressner. I've shaken down a merchant in my day. Never made the mistake of running afoul of the law, though. Because of course, Verse would like that. We're pretty good on building loyalty with her. I'm not opposed to that. So, there they go. I like how the buildings have their own drawbridges. I imagine they're going to pull them up in case there's an attack. But again, you could just go up from the sides and shoot arrows or fire at the ropes until they snap, and then the whole thing just comes down again. I don't think it's terribly effective. But what do I know? Couple settlers just standing around here. Oh, kitty cat. Oh, has better mental defenses than some people. That's rather telling. Okay, there's a door down there. Nameless settlers. What's this waterfall? During clear mornings, the western waterfall reflects the rising sun in a beautiful display of color. Is there? Yeah, there's another one. I assume it reflects the setting sun. It's actually pretty smart.
What have we here?
Oh, something new. This is the eastern waterfall. Though it cascades down alone, some settlers believe that the waterfalls split from a single source somewhere above the old walls. Okay, they can believe what they want. It's not like they can go up to check. But if we do ever find our way up into the spire, we can probably look down and see. Okay, what's behind door number 1? Just some settlers. This wall appears to have been damaged years ago, but was never properly repaired. Not sure what they wanted with these boards. I doubt they're actually doing anything. Okay, don't mind me. I'm just going to rob you. Oh, Tearsman Great Bow. Is it better? I can't tell. don't have that loadout. Nope. These two appear to be completely identical. Okay then. Okay, carry on then. And down here we have door number 2. Okay, we're gonna go in a zigzag, looks like. No doors down here. There's some named people. We're gonna get to you soon. Nice place you got there. Would be a shame if someone were to rob you in plain sight. Oh hey, you actually have names. Phaedra and Dea. A bright-faced woman greets you as you approach. Welcome to Lethian's Crossing, Wanderer. My name is Phaedra, and this is my beautiful wife, Dea. She indicates the stone-faced blonde woman standing next to her, who holds up her hand in a quick greeting. What brings you to town? Okay. What's your opinion on the Bronze Brotherhood? I haven't had any real problems with them. They might be a little rough around the edges, but they seem to be trying to help the city. As the kind-hearted militia that they are. Do they count as militia if they are foreign mercenaries? I think militia only counts if they are composed of the locals, right? I don't know. They can all hang. Dea interrupts, her face showing the first bit of true emotion since the conversation started. I have seen nothing but misery where they interfere. If you have the coin, they'll do anything. They're thieves and murderers, and I can't wait to see them trampled. She emphasizes her words by spitting on the ground between her feet. Okay, but this is your house, and you're gonna have to clean that up. Dea, Phaedra says, consoling her. I'm sorry about that. I do my best to make our lives here as easy as I can, but there's only so much you can do to alleviate the pain of the past. I don't think that will ever be fixed. Okay. So you do have some sort of history. I don't particularly care about that. What about this place? You can tell me. I've lived here most of my life, but honestly, I'm not sure there's much to say. She looks contemplative. We're a center for trade and a waypoint for travelers. The walls are a little scary, but you get used to them over time. She looks at Dea. What about you, dear? Dea shrugs, her expression never changing. What is there to say? The town is alright, but living under the thumb of an occupying force makes it hard to truly relax. Phaedra puts her hand on Dea's shoulder, and Dea sighs. Sorry we couldn't be more help, Phaedra shrugs sheepishly. So, you haven't always lived here? Several years before Kairos' invasion, I moved away from Lethian's Crossing. Being the granddaughter of Lethian came with a responsibility I wasn't ready for. I met Dea in the Bastard City and decided to stay for a while. We were living in the Bastard City when we heard about Kairos' forces moving to the tiers. So we took that as our motivation to move, she laughs. And I think we got out of there at just the right time. We traveled a bit with a couple of caravans, but nothing really seemed like home until I returned to Lethian's crossing. You never realize how much you can miss a place until you've been away for a while. She wraps her arms around Dea and squeezes. But I could live anywhere, as long as this one is with me. Aw, how sweet. It's true that trade hasn't been as vibrant here recently, but I'm sure it's simply a temporary setback. The merchants will sing and dance for you, trying to convince you their suppliers are unaffected, but everyone is feeling it. So you, this random NPC in a random house, you're the granddaughter of Lethian. One of many, I suspect, but I'm the only one anyone knows about. And before you ask, no, Eldian is not my father. Maybe you haven't heard, but my grandmother wasn't exactly the settling down type. Ah, so you're a bastard. Good for you. And no useful information was gleaned that day. Okay, let's see door number 3 before going on to the named people. Oh, this is some kind of forge. Can we loot these? Plans Headhunter. These plans detail how to forge the mythical blade known as Headhunter. This item can be created with access to a Spire forge upgrade and proper materials. Ooh, interesting. I don't think I have that unlocked. That also costs money. It's probably either him or we actually need a physical location in the spire itself. Remains to be seen. Decent little hammer. These worn iron weapons look as if they have been recently repaired and are being ready to be shipped back out. Fair enough. Oh, got some bronze. Thank you. We have a master of casting and a master of tampering. Ulanti surveys the room with an air of superiority. He addresses you without making eye contact. Is there something you want? Just looking around? Oh, you're the second of command. Alright. They got some internal troubles, it looks like. Maybe you can tell me more? A muscular woman stands upright from her forge and turns to look at you, the light of the fire playing across her face, making her eyes dance dangerously. Just a tiny little nitpick. If you turn around and your back is to the forge, then the light cannot shine on your face. Just saying. Basic physics. A toothy smile breaks across her mouth, the only bright spot on her soot-stained face. Do you kill with your left hand or your right? Both, actually. She rubs blackened palms together, eyeing you expectantly. Normally, I can tell at a glance, but you are a little harder to read. Well, I am in fact right-handed. Noted. She clears her throat and wipes her blackened hands on the canvas of her smock. I am Lohara, Master of Tampering, and Forge Master of Lethian's Crossing. My tasks exceed the hours left in the day, but there is no harm in pausing my work if it means speaking with the Fatebinder. Okay, do you have some unique insight? I don't see much of it. Only this. She points to the roof and walls of the forge. Lethian and her merchant crew settled this area a while back. The brave fools built bridges over the old walls and made themselves a crossroads trading post. Real pioneer spirit stuff. The whole place might have been ignored by Kyrus' forces, except somebody discovered there's iron everywhere. Can't wash your clothes in the river without them coming out rust-tinged. So the iron made Lethian's crossing important enough for Kairos to want it for himself. It made good sense to move some of us forge-bound here to Lethian's crossing. Easier to put us near the iron instead of shipping it over mountains. That, and this is a crossroads. We can resupply our allies faster than ever from our new workshop. That's a good point. Tell me more about the Forgebound. For centuries my guild has sought a union of magical and manual perfection. While others concern themselves with the arcane for the sake of inordinate power, we study to overcome the traditional limits of our arts and crafts. The forge is our dominant concentration of study, but not all forge-bound work metal. Some are weavers, carpenters, and one of our other members fancies himself a chef. The wise and mighty Kairos has been kind to our guild. He offered to put our weapons and armor in the hands of those who would change the world. A broad smile overcomes her face, and he has been true to his word. Forge-bound iron has trampled the tears, and all that oppose Kairos' forces press their heads on forge-bound spears. What can you tell me about the forge-bound master? Zdenya is the best leader I have had the pleasure of working under. She guides the forge-bound with a steady yet stern hand, guaranteeing all of our work is of the utmost quality and peerless in every regard. I am Zdenya's second, which is why I am the Forge Master for Lethian's Crossing. She points at Ulantis. He is my second, should anything happen to me. I haven't worked with him long, so I don't know much about him, or the true long-lasting quality of his work. But he was appointed by Zdenya, so he must be good at what he does. Fair enough. But how exactly do you craft with magic? Our most important rituals bind the crafter, tools, and materials into one entity. She cracks a nervous smile. Close enough? In my own work, the forge bind draws the whole of my senses to the edge of the blade I'm tempering. I can see the tiniest notch, or touch my finger to the blade and feel the razor sharpness without breaking my skin. Oh, that's interesting. Such perfect execution of art has its costs, of course. Once heart and lungs become linked to flame and hammer, a dropped hammer could lead to a stopped heart. Most of our members die in the throes of their work, killed by a distraction or simple error. She blushes. We lose a lot of apprentices. Yeah, I can imagine. Are you well? You look weary. Ecstatic. Her voice is matter of fact, and a smile creeps in. The ritual of the forge links heart to hammer. My blood beats only when I strike my ingot. My forge runs too hot if my breath becomes too hurried. The bond is both fatiguing and exhilarating. So I'm pretty sure if it can kill apprentices, it can kill her. She's just that good. Is that how you excel at your craft? Well, that and practice, she scowls. But yes, the rituals link the senses to the materials, and the body to the tools. My hand becomes a joint, the hammer the true end of my arm. I feel the heat of the forge as if it were the weather of the room. Under such circumstances, true focus can emerge. Couldn't that kill you? I should hope so, she laughs, her face blushing the color of molten metal. Better than being defiled and killed by brigands, poisoned by green rot, or slain by childbirth. Would not a soldier wish to die in battle? You know what? Fair enough. You truly are. What people say? Find something you like, and then let it kill you? In that regard, maybe she's one of the few people around here who's actually living a life of self-fulfillment. Good for you. Alright, now, who are you? Biotus. Welcome, friend, the merchant cries out to you, his bell jingling with rings. Oh, you're pretty hidden away for a merchant. He waves his arms about in a dramatic presentation of his wares. What brings you to my humble trading post? Have a certain something in mind, or just browsing? Okay, do you perhaps know about this seal? Nope. Forge-bound apprentice armor. Superior quality. Oh, but it's heavy. Not sure I like that. And it looks like it doesn't have any crush armor. Pretty good fire though. Plus arcane. Well, I don't currently have anyone at the tank position. I think I already have one of these. Yep. Sigil of Fire. I think I already have that. Sigil of Volcanic Weapon. Accent. That would take basically all my earrings. I'll probably come back to you. Sell a couple of the loots. Now, what are you three on about? I'm glad you came along, Fatebinder. Now that you're here, we can settle this. Why do we need a Fatebinder for this? It's such a trivial matter. Trivial? We were almost killed. Killed by whom? Felix sent me and Mares? Then I call you Mares. To the Old Walls for materials. Now, I know the Old Walls are dangerous, but Felix said he had it on good authority, that there was no danger. Felix was going to make an axe for each of us in return. I couldn't pass it up. Forge-bound axe costs a lot of rings, normally. Hey, forge-bound magic is just as dangerous, you know. It's not my fault the most reliable, stable materials happen to be found near the old walls. And besides, those axes you were getting in payment were exceptional compensation for the task. Okay. And you appear to be a local civilian. So how did you get involved? I've known Felix since before the conquest, and when he told me about the job, I agreed to do it, no questions asked. It's nothing I hadn't done for him before. While I was out gathering the materials, I was ambushed by scourges. If a vendor hadn't come along when he did, I'd have died. Are you aware that the inside of old walls are off limits? Sort of, but I wasn't planning to go inside, just near enough to get the materials Felix needed. Okay, so why would you send people to an off-limits place? The best materials are found near the old walls, and good material is hard to come by. There's no way I could do it all myself. I'd never get any forging done, and my master is very particular about meeting production quotas. It was a fair trade for their service. Plus, it's not like forging items. Using those materials is perfectly safe either. One error, and you're a pile of ash on the floor. As one of the Forge-bound, you're aware that the old walls are off-limits to everyone, right? Yes, of course, Fatebinder, but surely there's room for some flexibility in that law. After all, I'm sure that Kairos would want us to produce only the best arms and armor for his armies. Well, yes, that much is true. The problem here is that you were trying to arm civilians with it. And I think that will not stand. So just for completeness' sake, what do you have to say about this? I'm not one of the disfavored, so I know getting my hands on genuine forge-bound items is damn hard. Naturally, I jumped at the chance to do the job for Felix. I mean, it was just gathering materials. I didn't expect to find Bane all over the damn place. Luckily, I've dealt with Bane before, and was able to fight my way out. I managed to rescue mares while I was retreating. So did you go inside? He hesitates noticeably before answering. Yes, only for a moment to look around, then right back out. Couldn't have been more than a minute. And you've done this before? Yes, I've done similar jobs. This is the first one that's taken me anywhere near the old walls, though. I figured Felix knew what he was about, though, or that he'd gotten the go-ahead from his master. I see. Bit of naivety on your part. But I can almost excuse it. We'll go along with your judgment, no matter what you decide. Well, obviously, he was trying to give iron that belongs to Kairos to people that aren't us. That by itself is breaking the law. Obviously, we can strip him of his status. We can choose not to render punishment. The old walls are forbidden for a reason. All three of you are sentenced to menial labor with the forge-bound for 3 span. Or make him forge an additional item of their choice. Yeah. That's not really a sentence. We would just be giving even more iron away. Yeah, all three of you are going to do some menial labor, and never mention this again. You get to keep your apprenticeship. And we'll see about that. My master will have me forging nothing but ingots. What a waste of my skill. The Fatebinder could have had us executed. I'll take some hard labor over death any day. See, there's someone who knows what's up. I don't see why we're getting punished along with Felix, but I'm not going to cross you on this Fatebinder. You better not. I wish we could go for something more severe than menial labor, but I'm guessing these sensitive artist types wouldn't survive their first day. Close enough? It's not like they have arenas where they could fight to the death. Is someone named down there? And we can get down from here. Ah, there's another merchant over here. Do you perhaps know about this seal? Nope. So what do you have? You are an armor merchant. That's pretty nice. I might hit you up for a little upgrade later. Juggler's gloves, plus 10 ranged accuracy. Maybe Lantry can use that. Oh yes, that even gives. Ah, that's unarmed DPS. Not gonna be using that. But the light stuff, definitely. Warrior's Girdle, plus 10 athletics. Interesting. Oh, it's also expensive. Never mind then. So you are there. What's this? Middle of the river. The river is commonly used by merchants bringing their wares to Lethian's crossing. Okay then. This is an inn of some sort. Oh, here's the Archon of Song. I think I'm going to give you my full attention. So we're gonna come back here a bit later. For now, let's see what's behind this door. Let's see what's in here. Maxed out on camping supplies. That's okay. Okay, Lethian, who are you? The sunburnt man dips his head in greeting. An outsider never arrives alone. At least that is what my mother always said. Seems she knew what she was talking about. He nods thoughtfully at his own words. I'm Lethian. Welcome to Lethian's crossing. You must be the one everyone is talking about. Tunon's Fatebinder, right? Lethian looks you over. We could have used your help when Kairos' forces tried to take Lethian's crossing. Though I suppose you would have been fighting on their side, wouldn't you? But the Brotherhood overcame, and now we're saddled with their continued leadership. He shrugs. I suppose there are worse fates. Hearing stories about your exploits in Vedrion's Well, I expected you to be 12 feet tall and shoot fire from your mouth. Can't always tell the contents of a pie from its crust, can you? No? Maybe there is an Archon for that. But enough of my prattling. You didn't come here for a history lesson or to get my opinion of your grandeur. He waves his hand dismissively at his previous comments. The adjudicator sent you for the Arkonov's song, I assume. What can this old fool do for you? So you do know about the Arkonov song? If you have questions about our settlement, I'm the one to ask. I've the dubious distinction of being the oldest living resident of Lethian's Crossing, so I've been here for a lot of its history. Adian smiles. Eyes, hips, hair, and hearing might be failing, but my mind still remembers everything that happened here. Oh, so you're a veritable font of information then? What would you like to know about? I'll do my best not to go on too long about it. I know I have a problem keeping my conversations short. So you have the problem that's opposite of mine? In that case, we're going to be complimenting each other nicely. Now, how much do I care about any of these? Let's get maybe public opinion first. Okay, you know nothing about these. What about the Bronze Brotherhood? They are all around here after all. They were here since the crossing was founded. Lethian herself hired them to protect the settlement when it was just getting started. A fledgling town in the shadow of the old walls. They did such a good job she kept them on as our peacekeepers, and that's how things went. They're a good enough sort. But when Nerat offered to pay them to help Kairos' forces, I knew we were in for some trouble. Taking pay from two employers is always going to end badly if you can't make both of them happy. On top of it all, it seems lately that Retomon is following a path only he can see, and I'm not looking forward to what he finds at the end. You know what? Fair enough. Do you know about the Spire? There's no getting used to it. You'd think that after years of living under its shadow, that your nerves would calm, but that never happened for me. You can only be so relaxed when your neighbors are the bane. The moment you let your guard down around one of those old walls, my friend, you're done. Now, Lethian wasn't completely mad to settle here. She ventured inside and found sealed passageways that made it impossible to wander too far beyond the entrance. She figured that meant the Bane couldn't easily reach us either. Whoever created this monstrosity wanted us to stay out, and that's exactly what we've done. It hasn't been a perfect arrangement. There have been incidents. He grimaces at the recollection. But for the most part, the Bane won't venture out so long as you don't venture in. We just have to stay vigilant every day. Okay, I am going to go in. Must you enter? Surely there's another. He stops himself, adopting a less confrontational tone. Nobody will stop you, Fatebinder, if that's what you mean. If you have business inside, I can only assume that it must be an important matter. The old walls are unpredictable, plain and simple. The Bane may leave you be today, but I'm not the sort to gamble when it comes to those abominations. Fair enough? Let's ask about the crossing's history now. Starting from the top, who was Lethian? The biggest pain in the ass I ever knew. He turns bright red, blushing at his words, then lets out a huge guffaw. I suppose I shouldn't talk about my mother like that. Oh. Oh. I was a little suspicious over the name. Interesting. She was a mediocre merchant, but a great leader. The war in the northern kingdoms cost her a very lucrative trade route up north, but she managed to earn trade stewardships from Kairos, and for a short time she had a monopoly on grain, salt and tin here in the tiers. What did my grandmother say? Give a blind man time and a pile of rocks, and eventually he'll hit a target. He shrugs. Not to say she didn't deserve it, but I think luck played a bigger part in her success than actual talent. But Kairos gives and Kairos takes. The next year, Lethian was stripped of her trade rights. Suddenly she had a large staff but no goods to trade and no means to pay anyone. But she was a stubborn one, and knew if she just kept at it, eventually things would turn around for her. She figured the trade goods could come to us. The location was good enough. It's crazy how that would happen. So she decided to concentrate on making an existing local settlement into the center of commerce for the tiers. And by the close of a beast, she did just that. I thought she was crazy choosing a town nestled up to the old walls, but apparently she knew what she was doing. It wasn't long after that. It was renamed Lethian's Crossing, with the bridges over the old walls. This was the only place to go if you wanted to take weeks off of your trip. Eventually, she hired the Bronze Brotherhood to act as our local guards. We were big enough and had enough commerce to warrant the protection. Yeah, Lethian was your mother then? Of course. How did you think I became the Reeve of the Crossing? It's certainly not my storytelling or charm. I may be the oldest living resident here, but that's certainly not a good enough reason to make someone a leader. Though come to think of it, neither is just being the offspring of the former leader, he laughs. You would be surprised? But like it or not, that's how things are. My mother was a wonderful woman. She might not have been the nicest person, and she might have been over fond of a dalliance here or there, or there, or there. But who isn't? His face sobers. May her rest be ever free of disturbance. He already said. Why they settled here? Unless this one means him specifically. Nope, not specific. Necessity. The rope bridges let us cross the old walls. With them, it didn't matter what trade rights we had. We'd be at a crossroads to the northern tiers. An unbeatable location. The siege of Ardent and the Western City ended up helping us. All those folks heading to points east crossed through our little settlement, and many of them decided to stake a claim with us. By then, Lethian discovered there was iron in our rivers. She thought it would make us rich, but it also made us a target. The old walls don't make passage through the area easy, and our bridges cut days to weeks off of a trip. Lethian's Crossing is the best bet to get your shipment where it needs to go. Mix another load of iron ore into it, and we suddenly had a target painted on us. Okay, how did you build the bridges? Lethian was the mastermind of that. She could tie a knot with one hand, one string. I remember watching her draw systems of ropes and knots in the sand, telling me what they could do when built. I thought she was crazy. Says she got the idea for the bridges from seeing galleys pulled out of the water into dock. Apparently, the hardest part was getting the initial climbing team to brave the old walls and set the first ties. But apparently, you can pay a man enough rings for him to overcome his fear of old walls predators. I see. What is Kairos' interest in the crossing? Other than the iron present here, and the location being a crossroads? Iron, plain and simple. Now we have the forge bound here, toiling away with the ore they pull from the river. We're being squeezed for our resources. If you're after a drink, better to squeeze fruit than a stone. And it would seem many people find us to be very juicy indeed. There was a merchant who tried to peddle iron rocks as magical because they came from areas near the old walls. One of the people he sold to happened to be a disfavored courier. The courier then showed the rock to a forge-bound master, who immediately recognized its potential for making superior weapons. It was brought to Kairos' attention, and soon afterward, soldiers and forge-bound came to Lethian's Crossing. They came with such force, our options were to either comply with what they wanted or die. And we can take one guess. Which one was chosen? So what do the Brotherhood want here? Land? Breeding stock? They've been here longer than I have, so maybe they consider it home too. But Kairos' purse masters are no longer paying them to fight, and if a mercenary is killing for free, something suspect. In the end, I suppose it doesn't matter. Raytomon will never let go. He feels he owns this town, and he aims to have it be his. Well, not if we have anything to do about that. So, what do you know about the Archon of Song? Sirin, the songbird, feels like it's half the town she's got mooning over her in that hovel near the river. It's on the first tier if you want to find her. His brow knits. Feel free to take her with you when you go. He cans his head slightly, banishing his sour expression. But seeing as you're not here for her, what can I do for you? Well, I never said I wasn't here for her. Okay. You look interesting. Ah, there's the sanctuary. There's a couple people I haven't talked to yet. There's the old walls entrance. Ha, the map tooltip says Second Brother Sarata. And this one says Ring Dropper Sarata. I wonder which one is more accurate. But this episode has dragged on for long enough. I'm going to cut it here. See you in the next one.